All right. So we're going to continue. The languages used in the scrolls. Prior to the discovery of the Dead Sea Scrolls, the dominant view of the Semitic languages of Palestine in this period was essentially as follows. Hebrew had died. It was no longer learned at mother's knee. It was only known by the educated classes through study, just as educated medieval Europeans knew Latin. Rabbinic Hebrew, the written language of the Mishnah, Tosefta, and other rabbinic literature of 2000 CE, and later was considered a sort of scholarly invention, artificial, not the language of life put to the page. The spoken language of the Jews had in fact become Aramaic. Even in this tongue, literary production was thought to be meager. Accordingly, prominent scholars writing in the mid 1940s, on the eve of the scroll's discovery, expressed doubt that the competition or the composition of a Semitic gospel was even possible. Edgar Goodspeed, for example, argued the gospel is Christianity's contribution to literature. It is the most potent type of religious literature ever devised. To credit such a creation to the most barren age of a never very productive tongue like Aramaic would seem the height of improbability. For in the days of Jesus, the Jews of Palestine were not engaged in writing books. Hmm. It is not too much to say that a Galilean or Jerusalem Jew of the time of Christ would regard writing a book in his native tongue with positive horror. The discovery of the scrolls swept these linguistic notions into the trash bin. Here were hundreds and hundreds of texts, tangible evidence of substantial literary productivity. Apart from the copies of biblical books, about 1 out of 6 of the Dead Sea Scrolls is inscribed in Aramaic. Clearly, the writing of an Aramaic gospel was imminently possible. Yet the vast majority of the scrolls were Hebrew texts. Hebrew was manifestly the principal literary language for the Jews of this period. The new discoveries underline the still living, breathing, even subtle character of that language. A few texts pointed to the use of Hebrew for speech as well as writings. The works displayed a missing link type of Hebrew, intermediate between the form of Hebrew used in the Bible and that used by the rabbis. Hmm. Rabbinic Hebrew was shown to be no invention, but simply a development from the ordinary spoken Hebrew of biblical times. The scrolls have therefore proven that late Second Temple Jews used various dialects of Hebrew along with Aramaic. These two languages are closely related. Aramaic is to Hebrew as French is to Italian. For writing, however, they generally try to imitate biblical Hebrew, an older form of the language. The situation would be analogous to our trying today to write in the style of Elizabethan English. Not all the scroll writers could perform this feat equally well, so the correctness of the Hebrew varies considerably. Did you hear me? The correctness of the Hebrew varies considerably. Modern scholars actually appreciate the mistakes more than the deft performances because the mistakes arise out of the writer's own language usage. The written form teaches us about the spoken. A small minority of the scrolls were written in Greek. Their discovery has doused us with a further glimpse into the linguistic complexity of first century Jewish society. Hebrew, Aramaic, Greek. Each was being used in particular situations of speech and writing. We are only just beginning to discover some of the rules for those uses, to bring to bear the more sophisticated perspectives of sociolinguistics. Since, as noted above, many of the Dead Sea Scrolls have but recently become known to a wide range of scholars. We are presently at an early stage of linguistic understanding. Wow. I hope you were able to catch all of those in there as we will talk about them further. I just want to renew your faith Um, if you were trusting in the entire Bible, then you need to keep this channel going forward, because you stand to learn a lot more about the Bible, because the Bible is more than what you realize. It's not just a holy book that is worshiped in church. It is a book that is to be upheld in its original form. It is a book that is powerful and timeless in its original form, not in its altered state. And so, if you're going by the Bible in its altered state, then I pray for you. I pray for your overstanding. I pray for your level of consciousness, that it rises above the traditional teachings and institutionalizing of people. I pray that you rise above that. And I believe that you will. I love you on today. We're going to read more in the introduction of the Dead Sea Scrolls when we come back. And it is going to be titled Scripts Used for Writing the Scrolls. All right. I want you to take care of yourself mentally, spiritually, physically, and emotionally. In every way, be good to yourself, because you're being good to the Creator by so doing. The Creator smiles when you smile. Yeah. And whatever makes you smile makes the Creator smile. So keep doing what makes you smile. I love you. Be well.